Hello and welcome back to another F1 Esports video. Today it is round 11 out of 12 here at Brazil. Um, so yeah, getting straight into it. It is at the final corner. This is my first Q1 run. Um, you see that out the final corner, it was a really big struggle to get the tyres in the working window. Well, for us at least, for me, it was quite a struggle. But yeah, into turn one. Just after the 50, down into fourth, low grip at this point, so it's hard to get the throttle down. Up into fifth, sixth, hold the tightest line possible, and then as we're going down the second straight, just after the 100 again, you want to be braking, getting the car rotated in, and then accelerating out. Big snap oversteer there, and yeah, it's been an alright first sector. Bit of a sketchy start to the second, but then getting that pretty nicely. A bit under the limit, but yeah, it is what it is. Using a bit too much lock, getting quite a bit of understeer. But yeah, it's not been such. Well, I say it's not been such a bad lap. It's been pretty consistent. But yeah, a point 0.6 into the last. That's not too bad. And then as we accelerate out up the hill, looking for pole, or provisional pole in Q1. As we go to the line, what's it going to be? It's a 0.055, puts us P4 for the moment. But Thomas Ronha. So this is what I mean about F1 Esports. I'm 200ths off pole and I'm in P5. 5 cars split by 200ths of a second. That's crazy. But now we're going to go out again. Even though we're only 200ths off pole, we're going to go out again. See if we can improve through turn 1, turn 2. Not as good this time. That was pretty poor, I'm not going to lie. Especially the track evolution kicking in. But yeah, into the second sector. We messed this up last time. We get it well this time. You see the time we gain in 3/400ths, which is not a lot, but it's a lot in F1 Esports. So yeah, through the middle sector now, up the hill, much better this time, and then into the middle, proper middle twisty section. Getting it swung in, getting that nicely, and then out. Nice braking, little bit deep, but then getting on the power nicely. And now we're half a tenth up, 600ths up. This should put us pole if we get the last corner right, but we do not. We've absolutely fumbled the last corner, but it's going to be a marginal improvement. We have to get every improvement here, otherwise we will be out. We're improving by about 4 thousandths of a second, 4 thousandths of a second, and it puts us up like 5 positions. That's ridiculous, but yeah, you see it. Let's look at the Q1 times. We are 900ths off pole in P6, and to P15 it was just over 1.5 tenths, which is quite a big gap. Usually it's like 800ths, but yeah, we got through, and this is our first Q2 lap. Just absolutely fumbling the bag right now. This was on a fresh set, so this is absolutely terrible. Um, we're down on our Q1 run into the last sector, up to the line. What is it gonna be? This has been an absolute shocker of a lap, to be honest. Like, this was embarrassing how bad this lap was. Yeah, we've gone slower than Q1, so not ideal. It's going to be down to our last Q2 run to pull it all together when we need to. You see, the nerves are high, the shaky legs starting to kick in, and in these situations, I like to just, well, I say these situations, I've been in a situation like 4 times, but like I noticed in this quali, like I kept telling myself I'm the best. Like, it really does help with confidence, rather than thinking about who you're racing against, because everyone is ridiculously quick. But now starting on that pretty poor turn 1 and 2, 400ths down as we head into the second sector. 6-7 first, that's pretty terrible. We're gonna have to nail the rest of the lap. We do get that very nicely though, to be fair. And now up into the hard, clipping the inside, and then getting back to the inside as a double apex, and then into middle sector, running a little bit deep, managing to carry the speed into the middle sector now. Only 300s up, it's not looking ideal, but then getting a much tighter line, much cleaner line through there, and now we're looking about guessing the last corner as we fling it in, accelerate out, and we're going to be just about probably 2 tenths up as we head to the line. Again, not a very good lap, but it looks like it's going to be good enough to get us through to Q2, which it is just about, which is good. But yeah, a pretty poor lap. We're gonna have to clutch up in this final qualifying session to get pole because yeah, that just wasn't very good at all. Yeah, not much really to say. Yeah, we're still under a tenth of pole, so that's very encouraging that we are only under a tenth of pole and we had a pretty shocker of a lap. But now this is our first used set of tyres. Oh, no, it might be a second. It is second. Into turn one on a used set, we're going up into fifth pretty nicely through there, to be honest. As Frederick Rasmussen sets a 6.700, so a pretty good banker from him. We head into the middle sector now, 637. That's not bad for a used set. You're looking for the fives though in the first sector. I think my PB first was a 5.2, which was absolutely nailed if I'm being honest. But yeah, now into the middle sector properly, the twisty section. Pretty nice through there, a bit deep, but then getting on the power, and then turning way too early here. That was not very good. Accelerating out, and then take the tightest line possible, bit of traffic, getting out of the way nicely, and then just flick it in, hit a little bit of inside curb, and then a run to the line. We're on for about a 7.1, I want to say, a low to mid 7.1. It's going to be low to mid 7.1. And in all fairness, I was quite happy with that on a used set. And now we are going to go on to the most important lap in qualifying. This is where you have to have the bottle, you have to have the talent, I guess, to get the car around the track, ragdoll it around, as Tyrrell Martin says. But yeah, starting on that now. The most important lap in quali. Here we go, into turn one just after the 50 metre. Breakdown into fourth. Out of turn one, that is a purple sector one for us, although it doesn't show up, that is purple. You see it on the split, it doesn't say it, that's a 605, that's purple first sector. Into sector 2, running a little bit wide, that's not ideal, probably half tenth gone there. And then into the uphill right hander, getting that nicely, but again running too wide, it's not going too well. Getting it in, getting the nose in pretty decently through it, and then accelerating out, that was pretty nice. And now heading into one of the hardest corners in my opinion, getting the traction down, pretty good. We're on for a decent lap here, but it's just been a little bit too cautious. Thomas Ronhard sits at 6.6. We are down quite a lot. But yeah, that was a very good last corner. So we did a purple first sector, a decent middle, and it was 6 as P8 on the grid. We actually went purple in the last as well. Slightly off on Lucas Blakely, who did pole in the end. So yeah, we lost it all in the middle. You saw the middle sector was a little bit scruffy. Yeah, it wasn't ideal, but again, to only be a 10th off with that lap, it is very encouraging for the future, especially on this game where qualifying was our Achilles heel. Yeah, it is. You see, checking Lucas's times, we did go faster in the first and last. We just lost it a bit in the middle. But yeah, it is wet for the race. It's transition wet, which is the absolute opposite from what we wanted. So yeah, as we're starting the race, we're looking for a good launch here. Yano right behind us, and it's lights out and away we go. Also, sorry for no sound. We're focusing on the performance, not the recording, obviously. But yeah, into turn one, um, being cautious, picking our line nicely, and then looking for the outside line on Nicholas Longe. Any bit of oversteer here is going to stick us into the sides. We corrected the car all over the place, and that could have been race over. But now we're looking to attack Nicholas Longe, as now we're into the corner. He goes a bit deep, pushes us a bit wide. Jarno's on our inside, but yeah, we just about hold the position. And now we're looking for a bit of pressure, put a little bit of pressure on Nicholas Longe here. See what we can do. But as everyone knows, like, following in this game is very easy, but it's very hard to pass unless you've got a significant pace advantage, like half a second to a second per lap, which no one in this lobby does. So yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, as we come through the last sector now for the first time, we look very confident initially. We're only 2 tenths behind Nicholas Longe here, and I probably should have kept the ERS on there. Just go for a move, just test the water, see what it's like. But yeah, it's easy to say now. But you see, it's a little bit carnage, just trying to get the car in deep to line up the exit. But it's just, yeah, it's really hard. You see, look at our throttle. We're really struggling for the traction. Everyone was in these conditions, and it was really intense. Like the level everyone's driving at is absolutely insane. Just one bit of oversteer will lose you half a second or whatever, and yeah, it's hard. But you wouldn't expect anything else, I guess, in these types of races. As Longo runs a bit wide there, you see, he ran a bit wide, and now he's out of the slipstream really to his teammate. He's 7 tenths behind already, so it just shows like how easy it is. And Berezne's actually starting to drop off a little bit, as I have a massive snap. Like, that was ridiculous. And now Jarno behind us, he's still got a glimpse in the championship. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna not use IERS, and we're going to open up the door, let him through, because he's still got an outside chance on the championship in this race. So we're going to, again, play the team game. Obviously, I want to be fighting for myself, but, you know, I haven't done all the races this season, so I haven't been in position to fight for a championship, and I don't think really I had what it takes at the moment to fight for the championship. Still got to learn a bit. By all means, the pace is there, but we just need to have the ball. And once we achieve that, that is when we're going to be, I think, up there fighting for the championship. I do believe the pace is there to do it. So yeah, it looks promising for the future, but yeah, you got to keep working hard, I guess, and yeah, it should come. But you see there, Jarno pits, and that was the ideal pit lap. But they are going on to hard compound tyres, medium compound tyres, sorry. So it is going to be an absolute nightmare warming those up in these conditions. But yep, we've still got a decent chance in it. Like, we might come out in front of Jarno, but I'd imagine coming out on fresh tyres, but very cold tyres, I'll get told to move out the way, which I did in the end, as you'll see in a couple of seconds time, which is fair enough because I don't want to hold him up and ruin his race. But yeah, into the pits in a moment. We went purple in the end. Barry Borman stays out, and into the pits, a bit cautious, but yeah, we get slowed down. It's better to take it cautious than get a 5 second penalty. So, taking our pit stop now onto the mediums, should comfortably get us to the end now. Longe comes out just ahead of us. And now, whereas we're looking for Jarno Otmir, our teammate, he's coming through turn one now. It looks like we're going to get ahead of him, but we are going to be absolutely stone cold on tyres, so that's not ideal. But you see, we would get ahead of him, but then by this point I get told to just let him pass, which is fair enough. Don't want to hold him up and do any damage to his race. But now, skipping a little bit further on, we're still trying to get in a rhythm. Um, and we're on the borderline of DRS here, as Yano actually waited up a little bit there to make sure we had DRS, which is very useful from him. So thanks, mate. Um, but yeah, by this point, everyone ahead is like very low on ERS, and we've still got 30% left. So the management at this point was very strong. Um, I was very happy with how I managed this race, managed the ERS and everything. So yeah, that was another positive. I learned like how to, I guess, manage it a little bit better throughout this whole race. You see a bit of fighting up ahead, and this is only going to put Luke Smith into the clutches of us, as he's on the intermediates. As Yana goes around clean around the outside, and we're looking for a move now on him, as we're gonna fake onto the inside, but then should be able to drive right around his outside. A little bit of contact, he goes a little bit into my line, but yeah, all good. And a pretty clean move up into P9. So far, recap on this race, it's been absolutely boring, absolutely terrible. No one's enjoying it. It's the most boring thing in the world, I'm not gonna lie, because everyone's just been sat in the same position the whole time, literally. Um, but now as you skip on to 27, lap 27, 40% battery, we're gaining our battery back now, and the train is starting to slow down, so it's good for us. You see there's some fighting up ahead. Thomas Ronha with the two Alfa Romeos go and battle. And we're just gonna sit back. I save a bit of ERS. They're gonna concertina up, so we will gain in the middle sector quite considerably. You see here, 7 tenths now, and if we go through here, we should be gaining 6.5. Should we go down to 5 probably by the time we get into the apex? Yep. And we're right up to the back of them now. And we didn't have to use any ERS. So again, good management from us there, to recognise that this train will slow down, and we don't need to be right within like 2 tenths everywhere. But yeah, now we've got Patrick Sipos behind, and I was a bit concerned because I thought he was going to go mount an attack on us, but he didn't in the end, which is good. And look at this, by 33 we're on pretty much a full battery, so we've now got about 160 horsepower advantage on everyone else, but we're having to use a little bit because Seb Job behind is making us use a fair play, and Marcel Kiefer, so they're going to be a bit of an issue for us. But now everyone ahead for the most part, except me and Jarno, we've managed this race very well up until now, is flashing. So we're gonna have like 160 more horsepower than all of them. I think it's like 160 or 130, something like that. So we should be able to, as we're defending from Job, go a bit wide, but then we have the inside. And now we're going to defend, not use the RS here because he can't get past. A little tap from behind, but it's all good. But now we're going to defend to the inside a little bit, and yeah, we're going to have a full battery, well, a full deployment of battery for the last lap, it looks like. But Job is making us work for it. But as you'll see in a minute, we're going to have a full deployment for one lap. So the maximum power you can get for one lap, we're going to have. But there's an issue where it just doesn't give you enough. Like, you got 130, 160 more horsepower, and it just doesn't give you, like, it just doesn't give you enough advantage to gain the positions. You see here, we just pulling away from Seb Job behind, and now we go on to the last lap with 62%. Yarno's up ahead, hassling the back of Danny Bresnay. But again, there's just like, there's nothing we can do. Like, they got no battery and they're still doing around the same pace as us. So it doesn't really make much sense, but yeah, it, you got to play to win. Um, and we just haven't had the pace and quality to win. So yeah, that is our fault. It might be something in the setup, it might be just something in the driving. We don't know. Um, but yeah, it is gonna be Lucas Blakely who takes the win in the end, giving him a very big lead in the championship going into the final round. But yeah, we got 58% as we head out. Me and Yano blasting the battery, but we're just not gaining that much. Like, we've used so much ERS there, and we hardly gained on anyone. Purple last sector, but yeah, it just wasn't. It wasn't what we thought. We thought we'd have a bit more advantage, but we did manage it a lot better than everyone else. So that is positives to take. But yeah, that is F1 Esports Brazil penultimate round. Appreciate everyone watching. And yeah, Abu Dhabi will be out in a couple of days. And yeah, GG to the top guys, Lucas. Very dominant drive. So yeah, appreciate everyone watching once again, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.